Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode by LawSikho. Our today's session is on the Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI compliances, and much more. So, we first let's welcome our guest speaker. Our guest speaker is Mr. Yatharth. He's a CS and also a ex-CS management trainee at SpiceJet. Thank you, Yatharth, for joining us today for our webinar.
Thank you, Hina. It's pleasure being here.
Great. Yatharth, first of all, we would like to know about your journey, like your college and your interest when you started, having interest in doing a CS, and why you only choose CS as a career.
Okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Yatharth. I'm a company secretary by profession. So, as you asked me about my experience in this particular profession and why I opted this profession, way back in year 2014, when I cleared my class 12, so I'm looking for various career option, and that's how I came to know about the company secretary code. And one of my known is enrolling in the same profession, and he suggested me to do the same. And while taking the admission, I feel that that is a profession that suits me as per my capabilities because I'm more into law things. So that's the reason I joined company secretary code. And with each path level, my decision was considered to be right. And today I'm company secretary and having a experience of 2.5 year post qualification. So that's my intent for enrolling before this year.
Wonderful. So, let's start with the importance of SEBI compliances. Like even for a company secretary, the what is the importance of knowing these SEBI compliances, rules, and regulation? As the SEBI looks after the, it
Capital markets.
protects the interest of the investors.
Right.
So, why it is important to know about it, and how we can be very particular about the rules and regulation and
Yes.
compliances, that this is next, we just keep updated. So let's start our session with this.
Okay. So first of all, before knowing the complexity of the rules and regulations of SEBI, we must aware of the fact that why SEBI came into the picture. Like before 80s or 90s, there is no such institution in India called Security Exchange Board of India. And from early 18 and 90s, security market in India, it is not regulated. It is kind of a very scattered market. And SEBI, which came in 1990, earlier it was non-statutory body, and it became statutory body after the SEBI Act, which was enacted in 1992. It uh, it helped to reduce the malpractices and irregularity in the market, and to provide investor a level playing field. That is the main aim of the SEBI, which is provided in the Act as well, to safeguard the protect investor interest. So as we are aware that way back in 18 and 19, there were very irregularity in the capital market, and there were very loophole, which I'm assuming everyone is aware of that. The great scam of 1992. That is the main reason SEBI came into the picture, to have an eye on all the investor, that whether they are taking any unplaying advantage, so that to provide a kind of a level playing field to all the investor, the constitution of SEBI was done. So that's basically a brief background of the SEBI. And I said earlier, it was first enacted in 1988, and it is a non-statutory body. But SEBI Act came into picture in 1992, and afterward it became a statutory body with a statutory power and autonomous body. So that's a brief about the SEBI.
Yeah. So what types of compliances are there for SEBI?
Okay. So first of all, we have to understand that it is basically depend upon the activity. For example, if a company is going for an IPO, like I'm not a listed entity. I am a public limited company, and I wanted to go for an IPO, which simply mean that I wanted to raise fund from the public at large. For that, I need to come with an IPO, that is initial public offer. And for that, SEBI have a category regulation, which is called as SEBI ICDR regulation, issue capital and disclosure requirement 2009, earlier it was 2009, which was eliminated by 2018 regulation. So now we are following 2018 regulation. So for that, there were multiple sub regulations given in that particular regulation. For example, if you want to come for an IPO, first of all, you have to give your eligibility criteria, whether you are eligible to approach to SEBI market or not, There was a list given in the provided that you have must have that kind of capability, infrastructure, and all those stuff. The amount of quantum you wanted to raise, and the shelf document, the offer document. There were multiple regulations that govern each and every aspect of an IPO. So for that, you need to take care of the compliance with SEBI ICDR, which further said about the appointment of the merchant banker. As you know, the merchant banker plays a very vital on the capital market. So they are the person who responsible for that IPO. So SEBI as ICDR basically govern IPO portion, which further divided into FP and other issues. For example, private placement, preferential issue, right issue, bonus issue. So there was certain regulation provided for these kind of issues. So that's
Oh.
first aspect of SEBI ICDR. Further coming to the first, as I mentioned, now after complying with the ICDR regulation, you can get your company listed on SEBI main board or the SME board, which is further subdivided into two categories. And after your company get listed on the SEBI platform, now the how you gonna conduct yourself with the SEBI. So there was a basically regulation that is SEBI listing obligation and disclosure requirement 2015, which we in nutshell call SEBI LODA regulation. Before 2015, we need to comply with the listing agreement. There were certain clause given in this agreement, which is replaced by the dedicated regulation, which came in 2015. So there were certain compliances provided in SEBI LODA regulation that you need to undertake, that you need to comply in order to keep yourself listed on the main board or the SME board simultaneously. So, which is further subdivided into many categories. For example, there were certain quarterly compliances, half-yearly compliances, annually compliances, and some event-based compliances. So basically, annual year is nothing but just to make sure that you need to be on the main board or the SME board. You need to comply with the SEBI regulation.
And how one can be updated with all these compliances? Like, let's
Uh,
say something new compliance just come up, then how one should stay updated with this?
Basically, you need to take care of two websites. First, you need to take care of the BSE and NSE website, which is a stock exchange, two dedicated stock exchange having nationwide trading terminal. So you can access the circular or notice that is issued by the stock exchanges on regular basis. First and second, the SEBI, which is the main body. You can refer their website as well on time to time basis, so that you can keep updated with the circular that need to be uh, complied within a timeline manner provided in the said circular. So I suggest everyone to have an eye on the SEBI website as well as on the stock exchange website to get yourself updated with a circular and a notification provided by the SEBI. And it is very important to understand that because non-compliances of any circular or notification within a timeline provided in said circular will lead to a hefty penalty, and you know you always need to be on your toes while dealing with SEBI. That's
So
my
for the
suggestion for all of you.
yeah, for the like it looks like a big task. So for
It seems
example,
to
if
be a big task. Initially, it
yeah.
seems to be a big task, but over a period of time, with your expertise, with the gain your expertise, you started. You won't feel like a routine activity. So it's not like nothing like a rocket science then. But yeah, you always to be vigilant about these things. Like when you need to open the trading window, when you need to close the same, what is the last date of filing a particular SHP, quarterly compliance. Look, these are the number of things that I'm talking about in LODR. These are the people who are from my industry. They must be aware of the thing, what is SHP, what is CGR, what is IGR, and all that. So they are set timelines given for that. But once you get familiar with these things for a quarter or two quarter or for three quarter, that become a routine activity in everyone's life. So yeah, but about the circular and the notification, you need to get updated yourself on regular basis. There is no other alternative for that thing.
Do we need to do a person need to visit a website daily on daily basis or just weekly? It's fine.
I suggest you should visit a website on weekly basis, like because
Mm.
for everyone maybe it will sound very good to say that you can access these websites on daily basis, but I assume that being a human being, we don't want to get autonomous things. So these are my suggestion that we can at least visit their website at least on weekly basis on the weekend, on Saturday or Sunday. It will take not more than 5 to 10 minutes, or you can have the notification in your phone as well. When there's certain circular float on the website, you got an automated mail or the message. So that's also you can do the in order to update yourself.
Perfect, perfect. That's really good to know. Uh, and is that compliance, SEBI compliance, very tough? That a single person can do it, or he or she may need a big team to fully compliance?
It depends. Like, if I'll give you the example of the entity where I'm working right now, I'm working in a listed company. It is a Indiabur Real Estate Limited, and we have a set of 160 subsidiaries in which there are certain debt listed companies and a equity listed company. So, as I mentioned earlier, in SEBI LODR regulation, which should basically have an eye on the conduct of the company on regular basis. So, there were certain compliances which is applicable on equity listed company, and there are certain compliances which is required on debt listed company. So it's depend the number of quantum that you are having in your group. The size of the size of your team will depend on the same. Like if I presume that I have five listed entity, so the for example I need to do one thing. The same thing needs to be happen for the five different entity. And if the entities are small in number, the compliances will reduce automatically. But uh, it's my personal observation that complying the debt regulation to comply that regulation in timely manner is a difficult task because it involves hefty penalty rather than the as compared to equity. Yeah, there are certain provision where involve heavy penalty in the equity listed company, but for the debt, SEBI is more vigilant. The rationale behind that is that the debt is considered to be a secured amount of investor, and SEBI want to protect the interest of such investors who don't look for the good returns, who just want a fixed return in the form of interest payment which may vary from company to company. So that's the reason SEBI have a strict eye on the company who have their debt listed on the Security Exchange Board of India, on the BSE website or on BSE or NSE. SEBI being a moderator of that particular market.
Oh, great. So, now, your any case study you would like to share with us, like some mistake happened or the advice for young CS professionals that during this SEBI compliance, keep eye on these things. So, what's your advice on that?
Look, I'll only advise one thing that you need to update yourself. That's the basic rules of the industry. Either you are updated or you are outdated. So I wanted to suggest to everyone that please at least update yourself with the recent changes that happen to any particular law which is relevant to your industry. For example, we're talking about of SEBI compliances, so you must have that access to these websites that I mentioned earlier, and the most recent changes given in the particular section, articles, or regulation. So these are those things that you need to keep on your priority. Practical work exposure is different, but have an understanding of the recent changes is something different. So you need to have a eye on both of things. But firstly, you should be update yourself on regular basis. There is no such excuse. No one will gonna give you a second chance why this non-compliance is gonna happen, because as I said earlier, it always involves a huge amount of penalties which company may bear in case of non-compliance. And being a company secretary, it is your duty. That's the reason you're gonna hire company secretary to out from these kind of duties. So you need to be vigilant.
Yeah, that's true, and it's pretty easy. Like you just need to give a time, like 10 minutes once in a week, and
Once in
it's
a week.
pretty easy. Yeah, it's pretty easy. So, what changes are actually has how SEBI laws are evolving, and what change has already occurred?
Okay, so as I said earlier, previously, sorry, previously there was an agreement called listing agreement. Whenever you get your security listed on on any exchange having nationwide trading terminal in India, you have a listing agreement in which there were certain clauses that you need to do this thing, that thing, and all. But the quantum of compliances that was provided in the listing agreement is very small. Like still, company don't have much thing to do in that particular agreement. But with the emergence of SEBI LODR regulation 2015, the quantum of compliances gets stricter and stricter till date. Everything that company wanted to do need to disclose to the public at large. For example, there was a regulation called Regulation 30, which deal with the material event which is happening in a company. So there was a list provided in that particular regulation that with the Schedule C, Part A, Para B, Para C, which is further updated in on July 2030. There was an operational circular in that, which covered many aspects which a company will gonna do in their life. So whenever these things gonna happen in a company, you need to update the same to the stock exchange on which you are listed, so that the investor, the person who actually invested in a company, or who's going to be the investor in the near future, will got to know what is the plan of a company, what is actually working in the company. And these are main thing. that every company need to undertake, and those disclosure need to be undertaken within a timeline provided in said regulation, which is generally in a one within 24 hours, which may I am giving a tentative date. There were certain event that need to disclose in 30 minutes, certain in 24 hours. So that is providing regulation 30, and that is the considered to be the most important regulation in the in entire LODR regulation. So that is something which I suggest everyone to have a keep eye, that whether you are going to undertake on those activities that is provided in said regulation, that with that particular schedule 3 of the LODR regulation.
Yeah. So how to understand the SEBI Act? I mean, while when you read it, should we just read it thoroughly or
So
under?
basically, if you check the SEBI Act is basically a charter. Basically a charter which provides for the constitution of body called Security Exchange Board of India, who will gonna monitor the capital market in India. So they have certain function, as we discussed earlier, to protect the investor interest, to have an eye on the malpractices having in the particular capital market. So the act is very limited towards just giving the power function of the SEBI, but to have basically have a control of the capital market in India, SEBI was given a power to formulate regulation that we were discussing, SEBI LODR regulation, SEBI ICD regulation. That these are the particular ways for the SEBI to regulate the capital market. So that is provided in the particular act. But SEBI was given that power to have a to have a monitoring of eye on the capital market via these regulations. So that's the main essence of the SEBI Act.
Right. So, what mistakes generally CACS do while doing the compliances, according to your experience?
I believe everyone performing their duty very well.
Really? Okay.
I
But
believe so.
now sometimes young professionals they make some silly mistakes while
I'll
doing
tell
the
you.
semi compliance.
By and large, I feel that sometimes as the number of quantum of compliance is increasing day by day, so that it is difficult to comply the timelines. Like if I need to undertake an activity within 24 hours, sometimes it may or may not came into my notice that I'll miss that thing or not. So for that only, I think you need to have a compliance tracker in your organization for each and every regulation, or you need to update the same on what I say, on a weekly basis or on the basis of the quantum of work you are having in the organization. So that is something that I want everyone to do in their respective organization, to have a compliance tracker and get it updated on regular basis, so that not even a single compliance is gonna miss from your eye. And that's the
What?
practice that we are following in the organization.
Yeah.
Compliance
What
tracker is
is your?
basically
Yeah.
compliance
What?
tracker is basically
Sorry, I'm disturbing you. I have a very interesting question to ask here. We
yeah,
are
sure,
really
please.
eager to know about your trick and hack to maintain the compliance calendars so that
Okay.
our attendees also get to know, okay, like this also we can maintain our this compliance calendar.
So first of
Is
all,
there any software or something?
yeah, there was certain companies in the industry who's providing a tracker where you can have a real time where you can track your compliance on a real time basis, not only on the SEBI's law but also with the Companies Act, which is even broader than the SEBI Act. Even if I'm going off topic, but if I have to give a very simple overview of the Companies Act, so there were 2 lakh companies registered in India. For example, I'm not giving the exact number. 2 lakh companies registered in India. So they were every company should be regulated by the Companies Act only, and only those entities. For example, 10,000 or 15,000 companies are listed on BSE or NSE. They need to regulate that sorry, they need to obey the SEBI laws as well, apart from the Companies Act. So Companies Act is the primary Companies Act, the primary rules and regulation, and afterwards SEBI if you get listed on the BSE or NSE. So or for to comply the compliances of the basically Companies Act, there was a compliance tracker also available in the market. If you want to have a real time check on the compliance that the company is undertaking, you can refer them, and it may or may not be cost effective depending upon vendor to vendor.
So there is compliance checker for
Yeah,
SEBI
right,
and company law, right?
right.
I mean, does it really remove the burden from the shoulder of time management, timeline, time limit?
Yes, they are helpful. See, these things are evolving day by day. Like it's a technology. So technology, as you know, there is not a endpoint of a technology. It will gonna improve your experience with day by day. So I'm gonna say what we are having these days. Like we don't have any kind of compliance checker in the organization where I was back then when I was intern. But with the passage of time, the I took certain what we call a meeting of those basically vendors who providing these things. I believe that with the introduction of these things in the system, your work definitely gonna be easy. But still, it's a basically an AI which need to be controlled by your mind only. But that's the reason that you should apply your mind, but and does not rely on the technology blindly. So yeah.
Has AI changed the compliance management, or it's still in the process to change it?
I believe it's still in the process. You will not gonna rule out human judgment in any industry or in any case where humans are involved. Their intelligence will always gonna supersede AI. This is my understanding of AI. So I don't think it's sub rule human judgment, at least in
So,
my industry.
according to you, how AI can change this SEBI compliances? Like, what's your thought of the future for?
I believe tracking of your compliances will be done by AI, not
Hmm.
more than that. That's my opinion. Because, for example, as a CS, there are certain things that a human can do. For example, I'm a part of a board meeting in which the board were discussing something. I, being a company secretary, can advise them that what need to be done as per the compliance matter related, not the man in the company. They know that more than me. So in that thing, if I don't think the AI gonna replace me in that particular situation, because being a human being, we carry certain kind of emotion that we're gonna convey to the other with the in order to remove any kind of complexity of any particular decision making, which I believe AI would not gonna be work there. So that's my basically opinion that where AI not gonna supersede us, where the emotion came into the picture, where you need to actually convey to certain person with the kind of feeling or emotion that what need to be done and why need to be done. AI may give you a solution based on the numbers, which may or may not be correct to particular situation or to every event. But the human judgment, I believe that may or may not be correct in terms of words or value, in sorry in numbers or decimal. But it will always gonna work where there is a certain principle of emotion, feelings are there. So that's two different things.
Uh, any future change with the compliance of SEBI, or any amendments that will going to change the company's future or something like that?
Um, I'll give you one example, which is in the transition phase. I must say the insider trading. You must aware of the thing called insider trading.
Yeah.
Do I throw certain light on insider trading if our viewers are not aware of the particular thing? So basically, insider trading is nothing but a malpractice which was happened since 80s or 90s in the country. Like for example, certain individual in the company who basically employee, they know about the company, what is going on in the company, which will gonna reflect on the price of the company, which public at large doesn't have access. So on the basis of that material information or unpublished price sensitive information, UPSI, in nutshell, they took the advantage. So now SEBI is in the process for last couple of years to stringent those regulations which govern insider trading regulation, which govern the basically insider trading practice in the country. So these currently there was a circular of a SEBI that came into picture, which suggests to have a PAN free. Basically, if you are an investor in a company, your data will, your DP, the deposit participant, will gonna track you by your PAN. So everything gonna be a PAN related, just like Modi ji did with the Aadhaar card with a PAN. So these kind of things that you can track your investor that you have the holding in that particular company. So being an employee, I'm also having certain kind of PAN. I need to submit those PAN to the my DP so that all those things are getting what we can say that come together. So basically, in that way, particularly SEBI have the database of all the investors who also the employee of the company. so that whenever they execute a trade, SEBI got a real time real time track. And whenever the trading window will gonna close, what will gonna happen? My investment in my own particular company on the capacity of employee will freeze, which means I am not gonna execute a trade at during such window period. So that SEBI undertake these days only, and I'm assuming that it will gonna more stringent, and the scope of people who will gonna be within the review of that particular circular will gonna increase day by day. So I believe SEBI will gonna consider these things also.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share from your journey being a CS? So,
So uh, I'll tell you about my working experience when I was intern and what I'm facing right now being a company secretary of the organization. So I did my training with SpiceJet Limited way back in 2019. Initially, everything was going very good, but after a few months of great learning, COVID came into picture, which changed the way of living of everyone here. So from managing things from home to that e mode, I believe there were certain some crucial learning from that phase. I learned. Earlier, we used to conduct AGM, that is physical. Matlab, basically, it's an event that gonna happen physically, where all the shareholder company will be invited and the resolution will gonna pass. But with the COVID came into the picture, these activity will go on e-mode basis, and now everything will be done through the audio video facility. So that was a very great learning. Although COVID was not a good thing, but yeah, it helped us to have a very smooth transition of business where we can do work from our home only. And after I completed my training, I got my membership number, and I believe in that is in 2021, mid of a COVID second wave in May 2021. Afterward, I started my journey with one of a company who's also in real estate sector, located in Gurgaon only, and I worked there for an year and a half. Afterward, I landed to my current job, and I'm currently working in India for real estate as a company secretary.
it's a very long and amazing journey. You must have learned so much. S-
I doubt it's still lot to learn.
Yes, yes, yes. Great. Thank you, Yatharth, for this amazing, insightful session. We really learned a lot, and especially from your journey, your experience, the insight you shared with us. Thank you so much. Uh, Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Last thing you want to share with our audience, with our
Just
CACS audience and lawyers?
just a small suggestion that I think said it twice or thrice in the particular webinar to all the aspiring CS and who are going to join corporate in few or who gonna be doing practice in couple of months or years. Please update yourself. This profession is nothing without updating yourself. As I said earlier, either you are updated or outdated. So the choice is yours. Just make sure that you are updated with each and every circular or notification or amendment provided by all those regulatory bodies. Otherwise, you will not gonna survive in this particular industry. So that's
Yeah.
my suggestion to everyone.
Great. Yes, staying updated is so important. And you
Right.
also give us a trick that at least, just go and check the
Updated
website.
is updated.
Yeah, at least once a week, just check it.
Right.
It's a very good advice. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, sharing your insights, and, giving us tricks and hacks to be a better company secretary. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Thank you for inviting me. It's a great time here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining our session. Do subscribe and like to our channel. And don't miss to join us next Tuesday. We'll come up with more exciting webinars just like this one. Thank you so much.